Alright, love you guys. You guys know I'm not.
Wait, is he ready?
We love you too, sir.
Love you guys. I'm not really a man of too many words when the camera's on me, but I love you guys. You know that.
He's a man of few words but much action. That's what he says. All right, sir.
Okay.
That is
Okay. Lettie? Now, Greg, actually, if you want to go with your children by your side, you can.
Our kids went separate though,
Okay.
remember?
Okay.
Come on, Laura.
So her and Laura
Come
go.
on.
Laura.
You can get right there in the middle.
all right.
I love you guys, and I'm just so grateful for your example, your hard work, and your love that you've shown us throughout the years.
Can you say I love you? I love you, Grandma, Grandpa.
I love you.
You blow kisses.
I'm gonna tell you, like I told Selena, when she's that age. You go to school, get your education. In 20 years, you'll be somebody. I said, I may not be around, but I wish you the best, you know. And he showed it to me on his video, what I've said, and laughed about it. Yeah, look at this, Dad.
Yeah.
I remember. I'm gonna laugh about it too with Letitia graduate and you're there.
Laura.
Laura.
Nice, very nice.
Okay, Greg.
I can't cross over.
What are you looking at me for?
Greg, Greg.
You fall standing up? I don't think you do.
Yeah, I should have went around.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness. He's so theatrical. He's the oldest one, so.
You ain't too much, huh?
Was it? That's good, Dad. That's good. Was it? Well, you know I love you. You know I love you, Dad, Mom. Was it? You know I love you all. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Was it? You know, you all. You just don't know all the things that these two have been through, and the war that they had to go through. When Dad, I remember Dad when he was driving cross country with all of us, and he didn't stop, and I always thought he was, you know, just cheap, was it? and you know, because and so, you know, finally one day I asked him, and I don't know if I'm right, Dad, but you know what? It wasn't that he was
You're close to it.
and it wasn't that he was cheap, because Mom would have fried chicken. You know, we wouldn't stop at a hotel or motel or any Holiday Inn or anything like that. Oh,
You couldn't stop. They wouldn't allow you to get a room there in their hotels.
so he was
They
actually
served color.
protecting us.
So what I did, I had to drive until I come to a town that had like the Serenade, you know, used to be. For color folks, that's what they called it back then, you know. And that's what we stayed in. But anyways, I made it. But I drove from here, from Port Huron to Amarillo, Texas, nonstop. Yep.
And the places that he did stop, you know, after the people got to know them, they wished they would not leave. They wished that more people like them they could get. For example, this guy, Dad rented a house it was a house, was it someplace where, remember Dad, you told me that they,
Let him finish.
and the guy, you know, they didn't want to, Dad couldn't find a place for us. So this one guy, reluctantly, a white guy, he said, okay, was it, I'll let you have this shack, and not so many words. And he fixed that shack up into a house, into a home. My mom,
You got it wrong.
okay.
It was a brand new home. But it had all different colors in it, you know, red, pink, all that different thing. It was dirty. And the landlord, first of all, when I went to get the house, he said, no, I never rent to niggas. Well, he was about 80 years old, so I had to refrain myself from punching him in the mouth. I just listened to him and I said, look, I need a home. Well, I don't have no homes. I got one house over there, but they ain't gonna allow no colored living next to it. I said, do you mind if I go talk to them? They ain't gonna do you no good. So I went over there, rang the doorbell, talked to him, and I asked the lady, her husband was at work, does she mind if I move next door? Well, I'm from Cleveland. I don't mind, but I don't know what my husband thinks. So I went back and I said, I'm going to the Junior Chamber of Commerce. So I went to the Junior Chamber of Commerce. Well, first of all, I went to the base commander and told him there's no emergency, there's no war here, and I request a transfer because people don't want me. He says, oh, let me give you this address here, Sergeant so-and-so. Well, they gave me this address and I went to it, and there was a shack right on the railroad. I mean, you walk across the floor, you get splinters in your feet. When the train come by, and I went back and I told the commander, I said, look, I come from Dayton, Ohio, you know. I had all new furniture and everything, you know. And this place isn't suitable. He said, well, let me give you another sergeant, so-and-so and so. They took me to that same house 3 times.
Wow.
So that's when I said, well, I'll go to the Junior Chamber of Commerce. And no, I was going back to the base. This white boy was hitchhiking. And I just had to talk to somebody, you know, because I was upset, so upset. And I stopped and picked him up, and I explained what was going on. He says, you know what? My father is in construction. He says, he'll get a place for you. Just give him a call. Or if that don't work, you go to the Junior Chamber of Commerce, you know. So I was closer to the Junior Chamber of Commerce, you know. So I went there, you know. And they admitted me into the office. And the guy, he was on the telephone for about 15 minutes talking. Then when he got off, he said, may I help you? And I explained to him what the situation was. He said, oh no, we don't have that here in this town. They just passed a law, you know.
Praise God.
Yeah. So he said, I know you go to this house here. This guy owns about 5 houses, new houses. So I went to the house, knocked on the door. First word out of the mouth, what you want, nigga?
Wow.
I said, I understand you have a house to rent. Not to no niggas. You can forget it. I said, well, I was sitting here by the Junior Chamber of Commerce. Who the heck are they supposed to be? And then I said, well, I'll go back. I'll be back. So I went back and I went to the door. Come in, nigga. I'm a man of my word. I don't know what he meant for that. But he threw the keys at me. And I caught him in midair, you know. He said, but you know what? He would always call me nigga. And he had a son that did the same thing. He was in his 70s, I guess. And he would come by the house every day, every night, begging for a quarter to get some beer. And I'd give it to him. But one time he come by at midnight, and I kicked him off the porch. I said, don't you ever come back here, no more. He didn't come back. You know what he told me? Shoot, when I was a kid, we used to live up on this hill here, and we used to chase you niggas down to the ground, you know? I said, well, you ain't back there then now. But anyways, I asked the old man, I said, the house is filthy. Would you buy some paint? Nigga, I ain't buying no paint. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll paint it if you buy it. Well, I'll buy it, but I ain't buying but one color. I said, that's fine. So he bought the paint, fixed it up. Liz had it decorated, you know, it was really pretty. And he walked in the house. Yeah, nigga, this looks like something out of a book. And then after a while, you know, my neighbors were sitting in the front yard in the lawn chair, it was summertime. And I was cutting the grass. And the old man came up to me with his cane, hit my lawnmower. Pap, pap, pap. Stop the lawnmower. Mr. Burrell? I said, what? Yeah, Mr. Burrell, do you know any more colored people want to rent a house? I've been told all this years that white folks is trash. They got all my houses trash. Sinks plugged up with rice, my chandeliers pulled off the ceiling. He said, I want some more colored people in there. I said, well, you're judging your people like you judge my people. I said, you got to take a chance on whoever you rent to, you know. So, well, if you have any colored people in mind. So when I shipped out, I got some colored people. They weren't the best, I don't think. But they moved in. I don't know what happened after that. But he was a trip.
Because we left them there.
That old man respected me at the final confrontations. Called me Mr. Burrell. Yeah, and I fell back. And he was talking about his people like mad. My neighbors were sitting up in the front yard in the lawn chairs. They was white, you know. And they was that old man was mad. He was burning up. Because he knew my house was, you know, immaculate. Didn't have no problem with it. But he charged me more money than he charged the other ones. And I didn't have a basement. People next door had a basement. And I paid more money than they paid for the house that didn't have a basement. Because we had a tornado, I guess, in Indiana, and they took Liz and the kids into the basement over there in their house. We lived right across from a cemetery. I come home, it took me about a half an hour to get home, but where I was working, it was only about a 10-minute drive. But trees was down, at cemetery, at tombstones, all blew over and knocked over, caskets coming out the ground.
Oh my gosh.
That tornado hit. I didn't hear a
Remember what
thing.
year that was? Like, so you had just Greg at the time?
Greg and Tyra.
Okay, wow.
So Dad's got a lot of stories, and we're gonna get some of them, more of them stories. Right at this time, we're gonna let Greg finish up. I will say this about Dad and houses and Mom. I know I had a girl I brought over here, and
it wasn't me.
it wasn't you, baby.
Oh,
This was high school. This was high school.
He's in trouble.
He never did nothing, though.
Man, praise the Lord. So, but I brought a girl over, and she was just wowed. She was just like, I mean, it was just incredible. And that's what Mom and Dad did. They made houses, homes. And so, Greg, continue.
And I used to think to myself, you know, because when I was littler, kids would always, you know, like in Han Air Force Base, they would say, my daddy's a pilot. What's your daddy? And I'd go home, you know, sad, you know, and what is it, Dad? He could have did anything he wanted if he hadn't been, you know.
come on.
But in addition, not minimizing, you know what? Dad would tell me, you know, those pilots, they better be happy that I'm working on their ejection systems. And yeah, it wasn't like, because those pilots, they mess up. And if they mess up, they need a guy like him. Anyway, the point is, my dad always, you know, made me stronger and stronger. And yeah, my mom, she supported him, and they both supported each other. And what it's like, yeah, that's what I got to say, because I love that.
Well, you know, we went through some trials and tribulations, but the Lord always made a way out. We hadn't made it, you know, how we made it. So no, it just come around. We made it, you know. Yeah.
And I'll say this too. Dad ran, the opportunities that we were able to take advantage of were because of the foundation that they laid and things that they couldn't do. Dad had to go into service at 17, help take care of his family because there was no opportunity around here. And one thing about Dad was that, you know, giving lemons made lemonade. You know, wherever there was, you know, and one example, seventh grade or eighth grade, he's junior high, and never got a chance to play the track for the track team. The coach knew Burrell, just being a Burrell, you know, can you run for me for the city championship? Had him run all year. And this story came about, he never told me this, but Greg and I had very successful track careers, and even my little brother Kevin, but he was for the wrong reason for track. but let me do this. I finished out my track season at Porter High School, medals, records, and for some reason, I don't know why, I went into the room here, took my track jersey off, ran my last meet, and for some reason, I proudly said, wow, man, I had a great track career. I don't know where I got that speed from. I said it to him. He went and got a photo album with an article, and it said, Burrell leads Washington Junior High to city championship. First in the broad jump, first in the 75-yard dash, first in the relay. And he said that was the only meet he ever ran because he had to wash dishes at the Harrington Inn. And the coach got him and said, Burrell, will you run for me this day? And he said, hey, I got to work. He says, I'll pay you whatever you make at the Harrington Inn to run that day. Ran all that, and that was it. So all the opportunities that we have experienced, you know, hey, the world, even for his father, you know, Granddad was going to have the dump trucks and whatnot, but when the world said no, it just put on hold.
It's awesome.
Yeah, to our generation. So that's why it's important that we continue this legacy of Mom and Dad, of overcoming obstacles, of not letting anything hold us back, because we got this DNA flowing through us. So that was just one story I would like to share. And Greg?
Well, let me add something to
Last
that. Well, yeah, I ran track for the first time and broke some records, you know. But what they didn't realize, I was running track all the time I was in school. Because I had to get up and run to school. I jumped over ditches, you know, to get to school, Grand School, 24th Street, hurdling, you know. And that was every day. So I was in shape for that track meet.
Naturally so.
Yeah, so that's it.
Was it? Yeah. So, yeah. I love you both, Mom and Dad.
Oh, I got another story. I got a little one. And I just admire my dad. I was at Porter High School, and I was mostly a straight A student. And I brought home a C. And of all classes, gym class. And, you know, the next thing I know,
I remember
Dad
something about
is
that.
walking up to the high school, talking to whoever the teacher was, and they got that grade corrected. But to see that he cared for me, I mean, I didn't need the motivation to get good grades, I just got it. but to see how much it really meant to me that he would go check this thing out, and I mean, that meant the world to me. And Dad knows the story too of me playing football, being the quarterback at Portland High School.
How about your friend Nixon?
Yep.
Nixon.
Yep.
Nixon.
And senior year, our quarterback got sent to another school, got in trouble, so I was next in line to be quarterback. And they didn't allow me to play that position, and I didn't cry about it, went through the whole season, got to the annual banquet, they gave me the sportsmanship award, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, I would not have accepted that award if they hadn't given our friend Michon Nixon, who had no dad, they didn't give him anything, and he scored our touchdowns, he was our best player. The next thing I know, I come home, and Dad is in here with the coach, I won't name his name, but Dad asked the coach, asked me,
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad
Mom and
asked,
Dad went and talked
Yep.
to the coach.
said, son, did you experience any prejudice on that football team? And I said, well, I told him about the quarterback situation, you know, having a black quarterback, and a tear came down my dad's face. And I'm like, wow, because he said, you know, I went through so much, I didn't want my son to have to go through that. And, you know, that was another moment that, you know, Mom and Dad showed their love.
I talked to the coach about Nick,
Michon.
Sean. They didn't give him a letter when he graduated.
Well, the MVP.
Well, they didn't give him a letter, period. They didn't have a letter on his shirt.
Okay.
And I says, you don't understand the young man's background. You know, he's coming up rough. His mother's raising him. He don't have a father here. And you guys trying to do this stuff to him, making it even worse. I said, the man is deserving of those awards, you know. But I guess they said, well, he's wrong color. Thank you. Other than that,
All right, so this has been a great day. Love the words that Dad has shared, and I think we're going to hear from Jason, and that'll be a wrap for today, and we'll do some more a little bit later on. Jason, come
All
on.
right.
Greg, did you finish up?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Excuse me, Unc.
big hand too.
Yep. All right, you wanna say anything first, or?
Yeah, actually, well, Jason and I were married in '99. And I just always, I remember the first time I came here, I just always felt the love, the welcome. I mean, they treated me like they knew me, like I was in the family already, like I was a cousin too, you know, so I just really appreciate that about them, actually all the Burrells, but I always remember this house, because this house, I think someone else said it earlier, but this house does make you feel like home. Like even the first time I came here, like I really felt like at home, like this was my grandma's house, you know, so that's really all I have to say. And I'm so blessed to have married into a family like this, because they do just make you feel welcome and loved from the jump. So I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys.
Well, I said I was gonna try to be short, but I think with so much that we've heard of Uncle Harry and Aunt Liz, first of all, I'm just honored to be able to speak on behalf of them as family members. They have always, I think if we've seen one thing from the consistent amount of testimonies and praises about them, is you've seen hospitality. And that's one of the words that has always, from the time I was little, learning of them, to even today, try to emulate and allow them, their witness to be something that is a part of our family as well. I'm also honored to be able to speak because Uncle Harry has always been just a model. What you look at as a man, look at Uncle Harry from the time I was really young. And so, you know, when I think I was about 18 when I had, my father actually had honorary thing where we could speak on behalf of the father. I don't know if anybody was here that was there, but I was so afraid to speak on behalf of my father at that time. And it wasn't because of anything that he had done, because he was a great man, but it was just because of my fear of speaking publicly. And I've had that fear for a long time, up until, you know, 26, 27 years old. So, and I remember thinking I'll never allow that to happen again, because I wanted to say many good things about my father and wasn't able to before people. So when I see Uncle Harry here and Aunt Liz as a couple, it blesses me tremendously to have had them produce such a great lineage of so many, a big family, and all the brothers and sisters and grandchildren, and even me as a nephew coming into the family, treated as almost like a son. And you know, me and Kevin being really close coming up, has been such a blessing for my family and I. And I've implemented some of those things that I learned from you all and our family as well, and the things that are biblical. You know, the Lord tells us as a husband and wife that we should be hospitable and care and love people. And you guys have been a great witness of that. If I can't say anything else, and I would love to say I'm just blessed to hearing all the stories of the things that you guys have overcome. Those things bless us as young people, as younger people. You guys can look back at the videos and see some of the testimonies and appreciate what some of the older generation went through to give us the opportunity and what we have today. So, you know, one thing I didn't get that Uncle Harry has, and I wish I would have gotten it, but Uncle Harry was like a master builder in my eyes.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, man, I wish I just had some of that skill. Because Uncle Harry would just, I mean, there was a couple other brothers too, I think. You know, Uncle Poochie, but, well, actually, was Uncle Poochie, he was pretty good at that too?
No.
Okay. From my perspective, that's what it looked like. Down over there. But Kevin and I would talk about that sometimes, like, man, we don't know nothing. But no, you guys have truly been a blessing for everybody and all the younger grandchildren that you guys had, and it's just an honor to be a part of your family. And you know, me being adopted in as well, they've always treated me like, you know, it was blood. And truly we're all related, you know, we understand history, but it's still coming up as a kid, you don't necessarily always feel that way. But then when you guys just welcome everybody in, it's just such a blessing to have. So I thank you all for that, and we love you guys very much. And I'm honored to be able to speak that about you guys. So, I'm your Aunt Liz. Uncle Harry, love you too, man.
Okay, I have one more thing to say.
Oh, wait.
You know, the Bible says a virtuous woman is worth more than silver and gold. You know. Do you believe in angels?
Well, one saved me.
Do you believe in living angels?
Yeah, they walk the earth.
Well, my wife has been a living angel, and her protection has overwhelmed me, you know. And I tell her about it. I can do this. I can do that. No, you can't. I'll help you with that. I'll get this. I'll get that. And I run her to death, you know. But she's been an angel all this time. I haven't been so perfect as an angel, but hey, God knows. Yeah. So I love everybody here, my whole family. Godspeed.
Okay, we're gonna close this out this way. I'll take my skinny self over here. And